Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting Broadblade users in Wuthering Waves, Lupa. If you've had the chance to play her, you already know she's an absolute powerhouse. But it's not just about raw strength. Lupa's kit is all about blending high damage with team support, making her an awesome pick for both solo content and team-based battles. Whether you like to go full offense or support your squad while still smashing through enemies, she's got you covered. Now, if you really want to get the most out of Lupa, you need to pair her with the right weapon. Trust me, the difference between a good Broadblade and the right Broadblade is massive. In this video, we're going to break down the best weapons you can equip on Lupa to maximize her damage, boost her team utility, and just make her feel amazing to play. Let's get into it and make sure your Lupa is slaying in style.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel.
If you enjoy these types of
Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos.
Enjoy watching.
Thanks.
Waning Redshift is a pretty solid pick if you're building Lupa in Wuthering Waves. It comes with a decent base attack stat of 462 and an additional 18.2% attack percentage as its substat, which already gives Lupa a good boost in raw damage output. But what really makes Waning Redshift shine is its passive effect. Every time you use your resonance skill, you instantly gain 10 resonance energy and a 20% attack increase for a solid 16 seconds. That's a long enough window to dish out some serious damage, especially during tough encounters or boss fights. For Lupa, who thrives on spamming skills and chaining combos, that bonus resonance energy is actually more valuable than it seems. It lets her reach resonance liberation faster, which is where she really starts to pop off. Having a weapon that speeds up that process while also giving her a decent attack boost is just a win-win situation, and the fact that the buff lasts almost as long as the cooldown means you're going to feel that power boost pretty consistently in your rotation. While Waning Redshift is not necessarily the flashiest weapon out there, it fits right into Lupa's rhythm. She is all about timing, pressure, and keeping the momentum going. And this weapon helps her do exactly that. You do not have to think too hard about energy management or damage scaling. Waning Redshift handles both in a pretty effortless way. If you do not have her absolute best in slot weapon, this is a very respectable alternative that still lets her perform at a high level. Discord is an interesting choice for Lupa in Wuthering Waves, especially if you are looking to improve team synergy rather than raw damage output. With a base attack of 337, it is not breaking any records, but the real value comes from that massive 51.8% energy regeneration on the substat. That alone gives Lupa a huge boost in keeping her skill cycle flowing, making her feel much smoother to play in a support-heavy or team-focused composition. What makes Discord stand out is its passive effect. Every time you use your resonance skill, you restore 16 concerto energy. That may not sound like much at first, but for a character like Lupa, who is designed to support her team with frequent outro skills, it makes a noticeable difference. You will find yourself rotating through characters more often and triggering buffs or follow-up damage at a much faster pace, which keeps your entire party more active and effective in combat. That said, there is a trade-off here. Lupa does lose a significant chunk of her personal damage output when she equips Discord. You are essentially trading her offensive power for utility and energy efficiency. So, if your goal is to maximize team performance and you are not relying on Lupa as your main damage dealer, Discord is a fantastic pick. But if you want Lupa to carry fights with big numbers, you might want to look elsewhere. Ages of Harvest might not be tailor-made for Lupa in Wuthering Waves, but it still brings a lot to the table. With a solid 4-12 base attack and a very appealing 24.3% critical rate substat, it offers her a good deal of offensive potential right off the bat. If you're trying to stack crit stats on Lupa and build her more like a damage dealing machine, this weapon definitely helps set that foundation. The passive effect adds even more value, especially when you're weaving in both intro skills and resonance skills during combat. You get a 12% attribute damage bonus at all times, and on top of that, you can stack a 24% resonance skill damage bonus whether you're swapping in with an intro skill or casting her resonance skill directly. That means she gets consistent access to skill damage buffs, which is something Lupa can make great use of, especially if you're aggressive with her skill rotation. Still, Ages of Harvest does come with a bit of a caveat. It's originally designed for Jinxie, so not every stat or effect is perfectly aligned with Lupa's playstyle. That said, it's a 5-star weapon with crit rate and skill damage bonuses, which are always welcome on a character like Lupa. If you already have it in your inventory and no better fit available, don't hesitate to give it to her. It might surprise you how well it holds up in battle. Lustrous Razor is a well-rounded and reliable option for Lupa in Wuthering Waves, especially if you're looking for a weapon that boosts both her damage output and energy flow. With a high base attack of 587 and a 36.4% attack percentage substat, it lays down a strong offensive foundation. That extra attack goes a long way in boosting Lupa's overall damage, making her a more consistent threat in your lineup. What really adds flavor to Lustrous Razor is its passive effect. Not only does it increase energy regeneration by 12.8%, but it also buffs resonance liberation damage by 7% each time you use a resonance skill, stacking up to 3 times. That means if you're cycling her skills efficiently, Lupa can enjoy a hefty 21% damage boost to her most powerful ability. It rewards fast-paced gameplay and makes her bursts even more satisfying to pull off. While Lustrous Razor may not have the fancy synergy of some limited weapons, it absolutely earns its place among Lupa's best options. It helps her hit harder and more often, which is exactly what she needs to stay relevant in tougher fights. If you pulled this weapon from the standard banner and are not sure who to equip it on, Lupa is a great candidate that will put its stats to good use. Autumn Trace is a surprisingly strong contender for Lupa in Wuthering Waves, especially considering it's a 4-star Battle Pass weapon. It offers a solid 412 base attack and, more importantly, a 20.2% critical rate substat. For players looking to balance out their crit stats without relying entirely on artifacts or echoes, this is a huge plus. That added crit rate helps Lupa land more impactful hits, which pairs well with her fast-paced, skill-heavy combat style. The real strength of Autumn Trace, though, lies in its passive effect. At Refinement Rank 5, it grants up to a 64% attack boost if you're consistently landing basic or heavy attacks. The stacking effect refreshes every second and lasts for 7 seconds, so it's extremely easy to maintain during Lupa's normal combat flow. Since she naturally blends in basic and heavy attacks between her skills, building and maintaining those stacks feels almost effortless. You just keep hitting things, and she keeps getting stronger. For a 4-star weapon, Autumn Trace punches well above its weight. It is not only budget-friendly and accessible through the Battle Pass, but it also synergizes naturally with Lupa's combat rhythm. If you do not have a top-tier 5-star weapon available, or if you are aiming for a more crit-focused build without sacrificing too much offensive power, Autumn Trace is one of the best options you can give her. Verdant Summit, originally designed for Gian, surprisingly works very well on Lupa in Wuthering Waves. With a massive base attack of 587 and an impressive 48.6% critical damage as its substat, this weapon instantly boosts her burst potential. If you're stacking crit rate elsewhere in your build, Verdant Summit's crit damage alone can take your numbers to another level, making each hit, especially her resonance liberation or heavy attacks, feel incredibly satisfying. The passive effect on Verdant Summit complements Lupa's playstyle more than you might expect. It grants a 12% damage bonus to all resonance attributes, which is always helpful. But what really makes it interesting is the stacking 24% heavy attack damage bonus whenever you use an intro skill or resonance liberation. Since Lupa already blends heavy attacks into her normal combos and skill chains, this bonus directly amplifies one of her most reliable sources of damage. At 2 stacks, you're looking at a 48% boost to heavy attack damage, a serious power spike in any fight. While it might not have been made with Lupa in mind, Verdant Summit fits her toolkit surprisingly well. It gives her the same core stats as her best-in-slot weapon, while also amplifying her heavy hitting potential through passives she can easily trigger. If you happen to have this weapon lying around from using Gian, don't hesitate to give it to Lupa. It's a high-performance, crit-focused alternative that turns her into a real powerhouse. Wildfire Mark is hands down one of the best weapons you can equip on Lupa in Wuthering Waves. It boasts a hefty base attack of 587 and a whopping 48.6% critical damage as its substat, which already makes her hits pack a serious punch. But what really puts Wildfire Mark on the pedestal is how perfectly its passive effect lines up with Lupa's kit, boosting her attack percentage and significantly increasing her resonance liberation damage, which is basically the centerpiece of her damage output. Every time you use Lupa's intro skill or resonance liberation, Wildfire Mark kicks in to boost her resonance liberation damage by 24% for 6 seconds. But here's where it gets really clever. if you land a heavy attack during that window, the buff duration extends by 4 seconds and, wait for it, it grants a 24% fusion damage bonus to all resonators in your entire team for a whole 30 seconds. That's huge! Not only does Lupa become a massive damage dealer, but she also turns into a powerful support for your team's elemental damage, perfectly syncing with her role. This team-wide fusion damage boost really highlights what makes Wildfire Mark stand out from the crowd. It doesn't just benefit Lupa, it amplifies the damage of everyone who uses resonators, making your whole party more dangerous. So, if you want a weapon that boosts Lupa's own damage while supercharging your team's overall damage potential, Wildfire Mark is an absolute must-have. It's no surprise this 5-star Broadblade is considered one of the best weapons for her. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.